What's up, I'm travel photographer Brendan Vanson of brendansadventures.com, and today I'm going to be unboxing and giving you my first impressions on the Canon EF 16-35 f4 IS lens. Let's unbox this. So when the Perlator man delivered my brand new 6D, which is in my hands, he also came with the 16-35 lens. So when you upgrade to full frame, as I did, you can't just upgrade your body if you've been using crop sensor lenses. So you also need to get new lenses. Now, luckily enough, I shoot a 50mm. That's an f1.8, which needs a bit of an upgrade. And I shoot the 70-200mm, and those are full frame lenses. So you can use full frame lenses on crop sensors. You can't really use crop sensor lenses on full frame, not properly anyway. So the only thing I really needed to upgrade is this. This is the 10-20mm super wide angle for the crop sensor. This is a Sigma version. That's also what I'm filming this video on. There's two of them. One's my girlfriend's. So yeah, that's really the only thing I needed to upgrade, and I did so by getting the 16-35mm f4, which is, it's not the cheapest, it's the second cheapest of the super wides. You can get a super wide 17-40mm Canon lens, which is also f4. But that lens, in comparison, I was really convinced to buy this, to spend the extra couple $100 to buy this one rather than that one, because this one has IS, which isn't really necessary for video or for photography, but for video definitely. With a wide angle lens, it's nice to have that extra bit of stability. And I thought the extra 1mm was going to help a little bit, just a little bit, but also the actual really big selling point with this one was the fact that the chromatic aberration is just unreal. It really doesn't pick up any. It has a lot of really good things about it when it comes to that. I was looking at image samples, and this compared to the 17-40mm, there's basically no chromatic aberration on this and tons on the 17-40. So that's what convinced me at the end to spend the extra couple $100. Let's open this up. I'm excited for this. Probably not as excited as I was the 6D, since I've already had a lens that covers this focal range. Got my warranty. Buy legit, because you get your warranty. That's a fact. It comes with some goodies, as all things do. It comes in a little case. Honestly, I never use these cases, so I might use that for something else, but probably won't put the lens in it. I'm not one of those guys that really coddles his gear. Info kit, paper, styrofoam. This is the lens cap for her. There. And then we finally get the lens out. Move that out of the way. This is the lens. As you can see here. And if you pop on the lens hood, if you're a lens hood user, as I am, because the reason I'm really big into using lens hoods isn't to protect the light, it's to protect the lens. Basically, you smash a corner in, and the lens hoods will actually protect your lens quite a bit. So let's look at this lens quickly. I'm just going to give you my first impressions, and then in a later video I'll give you some test images as well as a full-on review. The 16-35 f4 version is fairly new, so I think a review is warranted. There's obviously been the f2.8 version, which I cannot afford. I can't even get close to affording that lens. So I'll review this one in good time. Looking at the construction right away, it's really nice actually. It's probably better even than I expected. It's an L lens, as you can see by the red ring here. This is the focus ring here, and the focus ring is really smooth, but not so smooth that it can be bumped out of the way. But it's just really nice and easy, and I'm a fan of that. Really nice quality as well. It just feels really good in the hands. The zoom ring is a little bit heavier, and I can definitely tell that, which I think is a good thing. Some people might get annoyed by that, but I think it's a really good thing to have that extra weight to it so it doesn't bump as you're taking pictures. You've got your image stabilizer here. You're turning that off basically all the time unless you're shooting video, in my opinion. When you're shooting super wide, you don't need the stabilization. You shouldn't need it. If you're gonna need it to shoot long light, you're probably gonna want to shoot on a tripod anyway. But I guess in a pinch, stabilization for a photo might help you. I saw a digital rev video on this with this lens, and they were shooting like half-second exposures with the stabilization on, so you can definitely do it. And you've got autofocus. So on my 10-20, which when you break this down, this is basically a 10mm wide, and then like 25 or something like that, I'm not good at math, long. So it's almost the same lens. If you look at it, it's slightly bigger. This one doesn't have image stabilization. But both are good lenses. If you're just shooting a crop sensor, I really recommend the Sigma 10-20. This lens is also completely weather sealed. According to Canon, they say you do have to put on a UV filter to complete the weather sealing 100%. So be wary of that. And when you're shooting a super wide angle lens like this, the 16-35, you're also going to want to make sure that the UV filter you put on it to complete the weather sealing is really, really thin. And get these super wide UV filters and get that on there, or else you're going to get some vignetting in the corner from it. This is a 77mm thread length, which is awesome because so is this, and so are most of my lenses. So I can really just shoot a 77mm filter and interchange them, which is sweet. Let's pop this on to my 6D, which is where it will go most of the time, although I think it should be said that 16-35 is actually a pretty cool length for a standard zoom as well. So if I wanted to, I can put this lens onto my 60D as well. And yeah, from a balance standpoint, I love it. And look, don't buy your photography gear for aesthetics, but how badass does that look? How cool does that look? It looks really good on there. Let's look through the frame. And yeah, it's wide. I mean, that's what it's for. It's for landscapes, it's for star photography, it's for getting into street corners and doing street photography and stuff like that. It's for getting close to subjects and shooting landscapes. And I love it. It's beautiful. I think I wrote down some specs here a while back, and I thought I would just go through them for you in case you're interested in this lens, although I'll be doing this more in depth on the review. But basically, you've got f4 all throughout. Also, you've got f22 throughout, so whether you're at 35mm or 16mm, you're always going to get f4 and f22 and everything in between. You've got 16 elements that are in 12 groups, so that's a ton of elements packed into this little thing. Two UD elements, which are specifically put there to reduce chromatic aberration, so that's why this behaves so well with the chromatic aberration. And I know you can correct chromatic aberration in Photoshop and in Lightroom and stuff like that, but why do it when you don't have to? Just buy the good gear. Minimum focusing distance is 28 centimeters, which is, I guess, about, let's see, about like that, which is fairly close. With the super wide, you're not going to do macro photography or anything like that, but you might be doing things that you get close to subjects like skateboarding and, you know, action sports and stuff like that. The aperture blades, or the diaphragm blades, there's 9 of them, which means that rather than those, you know, the kind of choppy 6 you get sometimes, when you get your bokeh, you're getting a nice round bokeh. Now again, you're shooting a super wide angle f4, you're probably not going to get a lot of bokeh anyway, so it really doesn't make much of a difference on this. And as I said, it's weather sealed with a UV filter. And yeah, that's it for the review. I can't tell you how excited I am to get out in the field and shoot the 6D with the 16-35mm f4 IS lens on it. We're going to do some cool things with this stuff. So subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be coming around with some sample images, some test shots, and a full-on review of this, some test shots with the 6D and some other lenses. We're going up to Jasper to do some star photography at some point. We're going to be all over Alberta for a bit. Might even do a ski trip if the winter comes quickly. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff coming up on the channel, I promise. And yeah, stay tuned, and I'll catch you next time. I got new gear to play with. Let's go. Peace.